Cheers! Welcome to Movie Bitches, episode 121. 121, it's pound room.
Yep.
So tonight we're reviewing The Accountant.
Oh boy.
Yikes. So I didn't want to see this movie.
No.
I saw the trailer and I was like, oh god, that looks terrible.
See, I saw the trailer and thought, oh, this is a good trailer. This still might be terrible. Like, as a trailer, it was interesting. It was. The way it was cut together was interesting. With the music and stuff. You just hate Ben Affleck.
I do not like Ben Affleck. I just also was like, I did not like what they were doing with this weird, like, autism line of it.
Oh boy, we can talk about it. So Ben Affleck plays a person with Asperger's.
Who is an accountant.
Is also Jason Bourne.
The accountant version. This movie
version.
was like Jason Bourne, the
Beautiful
CPA.
Mind.
Like, what?
It was a Beautiful Mind and Jason Bourne were a movie. My biggest problem with the whole autistic Asperger's thing is that they basically say that you can cure Asperger's through, like, discipline and conditioning, and that's upsetting.
Did they?
That's the sense that I got. That the dad was like, we're gonna, like, work it out of you.
Well, the dad was like that.
Yeah.
I thought he was crazy.
But, like...
But I didn't think that the movie was like, that's why he functions in society today.
Wasn't it?
Well, he took pills.
Yeah, but coupled with, like, torturing himself.
I mean, I guess that's true. He did, like, do a nightly ritual. I was like, they should have had a fucking trigger warning before this movie.
Right? I was like, epilepsy warning. Holy shit, I was upset, and I don't have epilepsy. He's conditioning himself to not have Asperger's anymore.
Yeah.
It was weird.
So, I have another plot confusion.
Okay, I will attempt to clear it up for you.
You can. So, Anna Kendrick's in this movie.
Oh, boy.
And Anna Kendrick plays, like, a junior level accountant at some high-tech bio...
robotics company.
Like, prosthetic whatever company.
Right.
And she finds a problem in the books where there's missing money.
Yeah.
This woman, who turns out to be...
Jean Smart.
Yeah, the sister...
Jean Smart and John Lithgow are brother and sister, which we find out at the end of the movie in a throwaway line, and you're like, oh,
they were brother and sister?
That would have been interesting. Oh, he had his own sister killed? Holy fuck. No, not addressed. And they're the heads of this company, and they hire Ben Affleck to be their forensic accountant.
Right. Basically, they were stealing money to then sell back to the company in order to make it seem like the company had bigger revenue than it did, so that when they went public, they could make, they could have like a huge IPO and make billions of dollars. Okay. How are you going to launch an IPO when the former CFO is dead, right? I don't know exactly what her role was, but she was an executive of some sort, is murdered, not to mention, and another accountant at the company is also dead. Like, that's not going to raise alarms.
I have an answer for you. This movie's stupid.
This movie is stupid! Fuck you, movie! Like, what?
This movie is dumb.
So dumb!
So, like, I wrote down a list of all the dumb stuff.
Oh, good.
Dumbest stuff that happens.
Okay.
So, can we talk about the audio enhancement scene?
It was so stupid.
She's listening to this recording, she's trying to figure out who Ben Affleck is, this FBI junior agent lady. And she just does the, like, CSI, like, enhance. And then she plays it on louder speakers. It was the stupidest non-tech thing.
Well, particularly because I still couldn't hear what they wanted us to hear.
Well, no, it was like in a different language. It was like some other...
I didn't hear any of it.
It sounded like... Like, it was nonsense. Then, he's supposed to be this, like, brilliant genius, and all of his pseudonyms are famous mathematicians.
Except for...
And Lewis Carroll, who apparently had Asperger's. Maybe that's true, I don't know, but it was so stupid.
So
stupid. Like, no, you wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. Everything in his character we've seen, he wouldn't do that.
No, you wouldn't pick a pattern.
It was so silly.
He literally calls out patterns of people making up things. So why would he ever do that?
So she could find him. So the plot could further.
But also, here's a question.
Yeah.
Why did they have to find him? And they didn't find him.
Well, yeah, okay, so I think I know the answer. It's not satisfying.
Okay.
So the whole movie, J.K. Simmons has blackmailed this junior agent into figuring out who Ben Affleck is. It turns out he's just passing the torch to her so she can now be Ben Affleck's liaison.
I guess it was a test?
It was a test.
Okay. There was just so many things in this movie that happened because they needed to.
Because the plot said so.
Yeah. And I hate that.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that.
It was so overly convoluted.
It was so overly convoluted.
It was also like two different movies with jarring tones. One movie was Jason Bourne.
Yep.
Pretending to be a CPA. And then it was a rom-com on the run with Anna Kendrick. It turned into Bird on a Wire.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, but what movie is this? Like, she's in, like, Grosse Point Blank. Where it's like, oh my god, I'm dating a hitman. This is, I'm like, oh my god, we're on the run. And you're like, what's going on? What's happening?
Who are you? Sarcasm? Is that sarcasm?
Sarcasm? Is that sarcasm?
She was just doing her most Anna Kendrickynessnessness. It was not working.
It was not working.
It was not for this movie.
No.
Were we supposed to be rooting for them to get together? Because I was not.
I guess you were.
She kind of comes on to him and I was like, oh no. Oh, absolutely not. I mean, mainly because of the jarring age difference and the fact that she looks like a child and he is an older man.
Sure.
I was like, no. Why did she like him?
Because he's smart.
Because he's into math? She was going after him.
She got real turned on when he talked about math.
Can we talk about when Jeffrey Tambor shows up?
Oh my god.
And it seemed
in
like
jail.
In
and I was
jail,
like, oh
in an open jail at like a table. No touching! I was like, oh my god, we're in Arrested Development. This is great.
I wished.
Well, I liked their relationship.
I did too.
So Jeffrey Tambor is like trying to explain to him like emotions and like how to react to people, and he like is training him, you know, in a kind way,
right?
Instead of having him get into brawls.
So I guess what I would have liked is if they had given us more of their relationship,
right?
Where it was this blend and this juxtaposition of like his crazy militant dad is the violent side, and then like the Jeffrey Tambor side is like the beautiful mind side,
right?
Like, and here's how to handle your emotions or whatever. And then, like, the blending is how he came into this weird amalgam of a movie that's A Beautiful Mind meets, Jason Bourne.
See, now that would have made sense.
That would have made a lot more sense if they had just focused a little bit on that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So much going on.
There was a lot. Also, there was, so there's, like, the whole thing about his brother.
And it's told out of sequence.
And there's, like, flashbacks and whatever.
Everyone else has their own story. Like, every other person has different pieces of the story.
Oh, and then there's like the British lady, which then turns out to be like this other autistic girl from this one thing that he met a long time ago that like gave him a puzzle piece.
Can we talk about that though? There's a girl there who has severe autism. And they have one scene together. And the whole time you keep hearing this like robotic British lady voice calling him.
Hello, Dreamboat.
Data's in danger. Kill Christian Wolf, transfer all domestic accounts overseas.
Reassigning the license and VIN.
Seemingly she can hack the Pentagon, hack anywhere, change his IDs, change anything, do all of these things. And then at the end you find out that it's the girl from the beginning with Asperger's on her computer that he bought her. Oh.
That was one of my favorite stupid
and he's like,
lines.
oh, that's a Besserman 124 British blah, 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 blah. You could run NASA from that thing. And then they have, and because that line is so absurd.
Also, it's like just like Adele.
Well, sure. But because that line is so absurd, they had to have the other character be like, oh, right, you're a computer software programmer. This explains this. This screenplay was so overly written.
So overly
we have to set up 8 different plots, and they all have to pay off with cute little buttons on them. It was like, oh, and we're gonna set up the fact that she's an art student, and he has a Jackson Pollock, and of course he's gonna mail it to her at the end. It was like everything. It was like 5 movies, and they each had an arc and a button on them at the end, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
But for that, it wasn't as much of a clusterfuck as it could have been.
That is very true. So, do you remember when Anna Kendrick goes on this, like, 8-minute story about buying a I have to tell the story because I don't want you to see this movie. But this is just so absurd. So,
well, wait, let me set it up.
Okay.
So she has bombarded Ben Affleck the whole film. He has murdered people in front of her, saved her from horrible criminals, takes her to a fancy hotel to impress her, and then she proceeds to bond with him by sharing this story.
When I was in high school, I wanted to buy a dress, but it was $100 and I was never going to wear it again. And that seemed just to be wasteful. And then there was this black Vera Wang that I could have worn to a bunch of different things. But it was $1,700. So, what I decided to do was learn all about blackjack. And I learned and I read, and then I turned my math club into an underground poker tournament where we would all play blackjack. And then
he goes, math club? As if those 2 words have never been put, like he can't infer what a math club is. And she's like, yeah, math club.
Like, like multiplying 292,643 times 72. And he's like, you mean like 17,763?
And she's like, oh my god. She gets so turned on that he can do multiplication really fast. Anyway, that's not even halfway through this fucking story.
Yeah.
So then
she's like, so then I drove down to Harris with $182 that I had to my name. And in 20 minutes, I'd lost all but $20 of it. I'm like, what? Apparently you were really bad at counting cards and blackjack? Huh?
Also, if she's in high school, where is she playing poker?
Thank you. But then there was a nickel machine on the way out that I put the $20 into, and I won $2 grand. So I bought the dress and a limo. I never wore the dress again, though.
What the fucking hell was the point of that story? Oh, and then she tacked something on, like, I wanted to walk into prom and have everyone go, wow.
Yeah. And then he's
and
like...
that's how I know how it feels to be an outsider. We're all trying to fit in. What?
And I was waiting for 2 things to happen.
Sure.
I was waiting for her to either just be like, and I wore it, and everyone still mocked me and like made fun of me or whatever, and I realized like I'm never gonna fit in by trying to be like them. I just have to be myself.
Something.
And like whatever, some sort of kumbaya line. Or I was waiting for him to later on in the movie bring her a black Vera Wang dress and have like a True Lies like tango moment.
Oh boy. I would have loved that.
Right?
They have to infiltrate a ball. See, that would have been fun.
If this movie had turned into True Lies, the accountant, I'm on board.
Mad at it. Wouldn't have been mad at it.
Dana! Jump! This movie was so dumb.
Well, so then about, spoilers, don't see this movie, then about halfway through I was like, oh, John Bernthal, whatever, other hitman guy, is definitely going to be Ben Affleck's brother.
And he was.
Which
was stupid. What was the point of that? Also, oh wait, so
there was no point.
Oh, so then there's like this whole other plot line.
Every plot line could have a button on it. Oh, and it's his brother.
Who cared? Who cared? This movie was a mess and terrible. I did not like it.
I mean, I was entertained because it was so insane.
Yeah.
But not on the level that, like, you should see it. It was so entertaining. I feel like this is, like, War and Peace. Like, I feel like they took, like, a 2,000-page novel that happened over the course of 30 years and made it into a weekend.
It was just bonkers.
Really bonkers.
I mean, so much craziness.
The best way to describe this is it's 5 different kitschy movies in one.
Yeah.
Like any one of the plots, the J.K. Simmons plot, the brother plot, the Anna Kendrick plot, the forensic accountant plot, could be its own movie.
Sure.
So, at some point in time, the movie was supposed to be directed by the Coen brothers, which would have maybe been fabulous or terrible.
Yeah.
But usually they write their own stuff, so I don't know.
Right.
And would have starred Mel Gibson. So you can imagine how long the script has been around if they thought Mel Gibson was going to be the leading man in this action film.
Oh, gosh.
99? I mean, when did Payback come out? Like a while ago.
Wow.
About the time they still thought he was going to star in Mad Max Fury Road, probably.
She says as she sips her tea.
Can you imagine? Actually, I mean, I feel like Mel Gibson did have that, I mean, depending on what time or era. He like Bird on a Wire, you know, he has that like, I'm so cute and charming, although watching him try and play someone with Asperger's would have been very uncomfortable.
I mean, it was pretty uncomfortable watching Ben Affleck.
It was icky.
It was icky. And then weird. And then crazy. And then
bizarre.
Dumb.
And then also very dumb.
Yeah. I can't.
This movie tried to be so cute.
Yeah.
And then it would be horrifically violent.
Yeah. Don't see it. Don't waste your time.
I wouldn't watch it.
No.
It was not very good.
No.
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 That was a good day.
It was a good day.